afternoon, buenas tardes. Welcome to the press conference introducing a tremendous card in Madison Square Garden. We're going to be introducing the fighters who will be participating in the action on Saturday night, and this is something unique because every fighter that will be introduced to you today, 4 fighters in the 2 main events, the fighters on the regular card, but every single fighter that will be introduced to you today is undefeated. Now that's pretty rare. And we're happy and very privileged to be back here at the Mecca of boxing at Madison Square Garden. Some of the great fights in history took place here. The first fight that Top Rank promoted, we had a previous company, but the first fight that we promoted as Top Rank was in December of 1970. Muhammad Ali fighting Oscar Bonavena in a classic matchup where Ali scored a late round knockout. Some of my great memories are the fights that took place in Madison Square Garden, both the old building and the current building. It's a great, great place to do a boxing event, and it has always been very congenial and has made the sport of boxing feel at home. And I'd like now to introduce to you the Executive Vice President of Madison Square Garden Sports. Please welcome Joel Fisher.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate that. Good afternoon and welcome to Madison Square Garden. We here at the Garden are extremely excited about Saturday night. We want to thank you for coming out today, and we'll see you obviously on Saturday night. As hot as it is outdoors today, it's going to be hotter in the Garden in the theater on Saturday night. We are host, as you know, to some of the biggest and brightest sports and entertainment events in our illustrious 135-year history. From Ali Frazier, presidential conventions, the Rolling Stones, Pope visits, to Taylor Swift. With all those events, there's nothing like, and it's always something special and magical about hosting World Championship Boxing at the Garden. Saturday night's going to be a special night as we have 4 incredibly exceptional fighters, and as Bob said, none of them have lost in their professional careers. They're all undefeated with a combined record of 78-0 with 60 knockouts. Think about that, 78-0, 60 knockouts. There's certainly going to be 4th of July fireworks early at the Garden on Saturday night. Aside from that, 3 of the guys, Nicholas Walters, Miguel Marriaga, and Ivan Nahara, they'll be making their first appearances here at the Garden, so we welcome you. We hear often from a lot of different performers, entertainers, sports athletes overall, that it's their dream, certainly fighters, it's their dream to fight here at the Garden, where all the legends of the sport have stepped into the ring and left their marks. We certainly don't take that for granted, and we are thrilled that they get to live out their dreams here on Saturday night. Felix Verdejo will be making his 4th appearance here at MSG, and we're thrilled to welcome him back and all his fans back to the Garden. It's on the eve of Puerto Rican Day Parade, and I'm sure his loyal fans will be here supporting the next great Puerto Rican champion. We know these guys are going to really work hard and going to look to put on a great show, and we really, really couldn't be more thrilled. I also want to mention, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Shawnee Monahan and welcome Shawnee back to the Garden. It'll be great to have him fighting back here again with his legion of fans in the theater as well. Tickets, which have been really reasonably priced, are available still. Some tickets are available. They can be purchased at the Garden box office and through Ticketmaster outlets. Now I want to really thank Bob, Todd, Carl, and the entire staff at Top Rank. Hands down, they're the best in the business. As Bob said, for many, many years we've had a great working relationship with them. I always love to hear Bob's stories about his early days here at the Garden. We look forward to doing this with them again and many more times in the future. As always, I'd like to say it's great to work with HBO, Ken Hirschman, Mark Taffet, Peter Nelson, who's here today, and of course David Berlin and his staff at the New York State Athletic Commission. So again, thanks for coming out today. We're really excited. It's going to be a great night on Saturday night in the theater, and we look forward to seeing all of you there. Thanks.
New York State Athletic Commission has had a storied career concerning the regulation of the sport of boxing. It is a very important for the health of the sport that we have a regulatory body that knows what they're doing so that they can handle the difficult regulation of a sport where the health and safety of the fighters is so paramount. And we have now, I'm certain, in the hands of the new executive director, a person who understands how important a position it is for the New York State Athletic Commission to operate at the top level of the sport. So please welcome the new executive director, David Berlin.
George Foreman famously said that boxing is the sport to which all other sports aspire. And there's no question that Madison Square Garden, with its rich boxing history, is the place where all boxers aspire to fight. The Garden's smaller stage, where Saturday's fights are being fought, has its own special history. And for me, it has a personal history. Long before it was called a theater at Madison Square Garden, when the seats were not as plush and the lights weren't as soft, it used to be called the Felt Forum. And that's where I saw my first live fights, at that venue. My older brother Adam brought me. I was immediately hooked. I don't remember who fought, but I remember the excitement of the action. I remember feeling viscerally how dramatic this is, and also how beautiful this is. You could feel what was happening in the ring when you go to a fight live, as all of you know. Adam and I became regulars, and our routine was always the same. We would buy $10 tickets, the ticket taker would rip our tickets, we scanned the arena, and we headed for the best open seats we could find. And we always saw good fights at the Felt Forum, competitive fights, action fights. Now today I'm no longer searching for a seat. I have a very good seat waiting for me, obviously, but I still feel the same excitement as I look forward to this Saturday night. And I'm confident that the fights that we have in store for us this weekend are going to carry the same kind of two-way action that I remember watching at the Felt Forum. Champion Nicholas Walters and challenger Miguel Marriaga, both undefeated, both knockout artists. The co-feature pits two more undefeated fighters against each other, in Felix Verdejo and Ivan Najera. Competitive fights, action fights. The theater at Madison Square Garden is proving a worthy successor to the Felt Forum. As the executive director of the New York State Athletic Commission, it's my privilege to welcome these fighters to New York. I assure all of you, Nicholas, Miguel, Felix, Ivan, that you will be treated fairly by the Commission, and you'll be treated fairly by our officials. And I wish all of you good luck on Saturday night.
This event, two principal fights, main events, will be televised by HBO on their Boxing After Dark program. We're very excited that HBO selected these events to televise. And we have here the Vice President for Programming of HBO Sports. Please welcome Peter Nelson.
Thank you, Bob. And I want to thank all the media for being here. I want to thank Joel Fisher, Sal Federico, MSG, everyone on the team. I want to thank all good friends at Top Rank, Bob Arum, Todd Buff, as well as Carl Moretti, the matchmakers, Bruce Trampler, Brad Goodman, for putting together a spectacular night of fights, not just in the televised portion, but on the untelevised undercard as well. This is a signature event for some of the reasons that have already been discussed, both the history, the tradition of this building, and the fights that have come out of it. But I also want to talk about the stakes of these fights, because right now Nicholas Walters is one of the fast rising stars of the sport, having dismantled Nonito Donaire, a former fighter of the year, in his last appearance on HBO with a spectacular knockout. And he's now in a rematch against Miguel Marriaga. They fought in the amateurs, and Marriaga beat him. And they're now going to battle for the honor of who is actually supreme, and they're going to battle for a world title, and they're going to battle to see who can become a next star on television. In the co-feature, Felix Verdejo, the first time I saw him fight here at the theater, you could see that seat by seat in this arena, he wanted to make this place his home. And he was going to earn a fan one at a time. And you see the Puerto Rican crowd already starting to develop around him, but you also see a wider crowd that just loves boxing developing around him. And Ivan Nahara has a great opportunity in front of him to be able to show who is the fastest rising prospect in this sport right now today. And that's the great difference that these fights represent, is that there's a wise man that I work with in my building named Christopher Williams, and he talks about the difference between getting an opportunity and getting a chance. A chance is something that you get, whereas an opportunity is something that you earn. Like, I have a chance in a fight against some of these guys, but these guys have opportunities against one another. They earn the right to be here on TV today. And those are the kinds of fights that the fans want to see. And those are the kinds of fights that we feel privileged to present. And I want to thank all the fighters and their teams for participating in a great event. Our start time is 10 o'clock. I want to make a special note that Felix Verdejo is going to go to the Starrett Community Center to participate in a local event. And that's the kind of individuals that we love associating our network with, is fighters that want to give back to the community, that want to inspire kids the same way one day when they were kids they were inspired. And that's one of the great values that sport can do in life. And so I want to thank the quality of individuals that are on this dais, in addition to the fights that I believe that we're going to be seeing on Saturday night. Look forward to seeing you all there. Thanks very much.
I also want to thank our sponsor, Tecate Con Character. Tecate has taken a tremendous interest in the sport of boxing. Through the sport, it's become the fastest selling beer in the United States. As you know, it started in Mexico. And the partnership between Tecate and boxing has been a great one for both sides. For us at Top Rank, it's been wonderful. Tecate sponsors all of our fights, and for Tecate and its parent company Heineken, it has been also extraordinarily rewarding with the growth of the brand. So I want to again thank Tecate for coming on board and being so supportive of the sport of boxing. As you remember, it was Tecate that stepped up to the plate and made the highest offer and was the sponsor of the Mayweather Pacquiao fight last May. All right, let's talk about the fighters who will be appearing on the card in non-televised action. We have from Maryland a super lightweight who all of our matchmakers feel will be making a big mark on the sport of boxing, and without much time passing, he will be appearing on the stage in a big televised fight on HBO or on pay-per-view events or True TV. He is one of the brightest lights in boxing. His record is 14 wins and no defeats. Please welcome Michael Reed.